Let's talk about Luka Dončić. Luka Dončić is slowly but surely approaching best player in the world status. I think Luka Dončić, there's a world where there could be about a 3 to 4 year stretch where he could legitimately punch his ticket to being the best player in the entire world regarding basketball. And I said when Luka Dončić first entered the league, I saw the first couple games he played, his rookie season. I said, yep, if this guy stays relatively healthy, he's going to eventually eclipse 30,000 career points. He's on pace to do so. Has best player in basketball potential. And look, will Luka Dončić ever get to best player in the world status? I mean, it remains to be seen. I'm not saying he's going to get there. All I'm saying is it's at least on the table. And I will admit, it's a very, very rocky road to get there because there's only been a couple of players that have held that best player in the world title. Guys like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I believe Kobe Bryant held it for about a 4-year stretch. I actually believe Kevin Durant, once he got to Golden State, and even in the first couple of years in Brooklyn, he was in that conversation, was arguably the best player in basketball. Some people scratch their heads at me when I say that, but I fully believe that, especially when it comes to Kobe. Durant a little bit less, but you get the point. Here's the thing. Luka Dončić, let's focus on him. 6 years into his NBA career, only 25 years old. He's already made an NBA Finals appearance. He's been a 5-time first-team All-Pro. Keep in mind, that's more first-team All-Pro selections than Stephen Curry. He's won a scoring title, won Rookie of the Year, and 3 times he has finished in the top 5 in MVP voting. I'd argue this year Luka Dončić should have won the league MVP. I mean, the 2023-2024 MVP should have went to Luka, in my opinion. He had a 70-point game, 70-point performance this past season. 34 points per game, 9 rebounds, just shy of 10 assists per game. And the Dallas Mavericks won 50 games this season. Can we all at least admit that if you get to 50 wins on the season, you're at least eligible to win the league MVP? Like, that's at least a good enough baseline level. Like, yeah, 50 wins, I think that's good enough. And not to mention Kyrie Irving, he missed 24 games due to injury. And Luka was carrying the Dallas Mavericks. And here's the thing about Luka Dončić. In order for him to truly, truly get to that best player in the world circle, or at least take the title from a guy like Nikola Jokic, who I believe is holding the title currently right now, having won a championship, coming off an all-time great playoff run, and no one really necessarily surpassed Jokic this year, even though it's a lot more close. Luka's going to need to win an MVP because I don't think there's ever been a season where I looked at a player and said, oh yeah, he's the best player in the world and he's never won a league MVP. That doesn't make any sense. So win a league MVP and win an NBA championship. And that's very, very doable for Luka because he's an all-time great player. He was just top 3 in MVP voting this past season, and he was just in the NBA Finals. And as an offensive player, I mean, there's not very many players in the NBA history that are better than Luka Dončić. I think he's going to go down all time as a top 5 to top 10 all-time great offensive player. I think that he's going to be in that category. I mean, his ability to score with ease, pass the basketball, his intelligence, his competitive nature. Like Luka Dončić, if he's not at least considered for top 10 all-time status by the time his career is over, I think we're going to look back on Luka and say, man, I'm a little bummed out for him because he has the world in front of him. Now, will he reach this status? I'm not so sure because I'm not so sure what his future holds. I'm not sure if Dallas is going to be good enough to win the championship, and I'm not sure if Luka's going to work on his weaknesses. I'll get to those weaknesses a little bit later in the show, but Luka's going to have to work on his defense. He's going to have to work on, not complaining to the refs as much. There's little inks and irons and kinks that Luka needs to get better at, but I just think that he is slowly but surely starting to enter that best player in the world conversation, just winning an all-time great playoff run despite losing in the finals. And I think Luka, he has the world in front of him.